I heard a story once, an incredible story, an amazing story. It told of one who was relentlessly faithful and loves with an unwavering love. It was said that he sorrows over broken people. It was said that he tirelessly pursues each lost one, never stopping, never giving up until... But if I let him in, what would I have to give up? What would I have left that I could say was mine? Anyway, it was just a story I heard once. Just a story. But if it was only a story, why did thoughts of him trouble my dreams? Glimpses in the moonlight, glimmers in the starlight, whispers in the midnight breeze. Gradually, the whispers became a sound, perceptible only late at night, when all the world was silent and asleep, except for me and my pounding heart, and the distant sound coming closer. Soon I could hear it by day as well, stronger, constant, unhurrying, and now I could tell what it was, the beat of footsteps. Footsteps down the street, footsteps on the sidewalk, footsteps outside the door. He was coming, the one I had heard about, coming for me. And so I fled. I chose the surest methods and swiftest means. I traveled down endless miles looking for escape. I fled. I sought refuge in forbidden pleasures and tried to drown out the footsteps beneath the clamor of the train. The train catered to my every desire. Images sped past, a kaleidoscope of all I hungered for, tantalizing me with more to want and guaranteeing unceasing ecstasy. But the more each stop promised, the greater the letdown, and the louder my cravings became. And beneath the noise, I could always hear the steady pace, the unhurrying chase, the footsteps coming nearer. Despite the train's assurances, feelings of contentment were faint and fleeting and increasingly rare. The more I fed my desires, the more they consumed me. Each declared it was worth any price, and the cost was everything I had. On and on I fled, on and on his relentless pursuit. I sensed his devotion to me was great, but I feared its power. I was afraid if I opened my heart, he would rush in, and I would be allowed nothing of my own. So I turned from every urge to look his way, and hid my face, hoping he would not notice me, just an insignificant passenger on the train. Then, beneath the constant din, I heard a different sound. A soft, seductive voice, soothing as a caress and calling my name. I could not keep from listening. What did I need? Friends? Self-confidence? Approval? Popularity? The voice promised everything, all this and more, if only I would listen, if only I would come to the voice. As the train approached the ultimate stop, I searched the station for any sign of him who had followed so persistently. I stood on the silent platform and listened carefully. Perhaps he was pursuing someone else. Then I ran toward the beautiful voice, lured on with enticing words and the promise it could provide everything I lacked. On I hurried, hoping I was safe. But wait, what was that? Over there. There! I paused only for an instant. He looked deep into my eyes, and I into his, and I knew what he wanted. Me. No! I shouted, and fled even faster. The nearer I got to the voice, the harder it became to resist. In words that were no longer soft or sweet, I was no longer called, but commanded.
Come inside. Find what you need in me.
The doors opened, and I entered. Behind me, the doors closed. But what was this? There were no strong arms to provide anything. It had all been a facade, all just a devious mask. I had run to empty promises of happiness. Through its captivating smile, the manipulating voice had spoken only lies. Inside I was alone, disillusioned and filled with anguish. The voice was just a machine. And once the machine was finished with someone, all that was left were the ruins of what you had been. Confused and overwhelmed, I fell to my knees. All I had tried had been a waste of time, of energy, of hope. Nothing I had fled to had ever provided the comfort I had sought. My strength was gone. All that remained were broken pieces and shattered dreams. Now that I could see the machine for what it was, the voice no longer tempted me. It had no love to give. Its assurances were deceit. Slowly, gradually, a resolve began to grow within me. Slowly, gradually, I began to build a shelter. No longer would I look to the pleasures of the train, nor would I listen to the promises of the voice. I would work to help others, those who were broken and left in torment in this devastated place. This would be my shelter. Through work and kindness, I would find relief. I would forge contentment with my own hands and earn significance by doing good. Though my toil eased some of my emptiness, there was still a void, an aching for more that never left. Then, one night sleeping in my shelter, I awoke to a sound I'd heard long ago. The sound of footsteps bounding across the dry earth. Footsteps coming for me. With nowhere to run, I stepped out, resolved to face him. And he was there. "Leave me be!" I screamed, and desperate to make him go away, I picked up a heavy stone and hurled it. As the stone pierced his flesh, I heard a gasp from heaven. But still, he did not move. In his eyes, I saw only forgiveness and acceptance, as if he had stood there before. I fled back into my shelter, the only place left to escape. I hated him for interfering. I hated myself for the hurt I had caused him. In the darkness of my despair, I lost faith in ever finding happiness. I must stop thinking about him, how he had never stopped seeking me, how he was outside waiting for me. I would not yield to the great pursuer. I must stop thinking about the truth I now knew. He had always watched over me. He was still watching now. I turned at last to the final escape, the final flight to complete oblivion. No more dawns, no more struggles, no more thinking. I would sleep, 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 and wake no more. But then, in utter desolation, like a gentle breeze that washed over and around me, I felt the tenderness of his presence. I had no fight left, so I finally listened.
Which of those you fled to loved you?
I heard him say, and my heart answered, "None but you, only you." And then he said to me,
You will have no rest until you rest in me. Come, take my hand and rise.
In the darkness of my gloom, I saw his outstretched hand, and I heard these words.
Though you would not see it, I am the one you have been seeking all your life.
In that moment, after all the endless miles and all the fruitless searching, I finally quit my running and reached out to the one who had sought me for so long. The lost one was finally found. He required nothing beyond acceptance. The peace I had longed for but never known flooded my heart. And in having nothing of my own, nothing but his love, I found everything I had lacked. I was finally complete, finally at rest in him.